Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, can you hear me?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Can you see the PPT also?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you. So I have great pleasure to welcome all devotees for today's session. I don't know whether it is a 30th or 31st session. A threat against iskcon, which we just hinted in the last week. So today we shall continue from that. So before we proceed, a very happy Ekadashi, Shayan Ekadashi to all of you. This marks the commencement of Chaturmasya. So Shayan Ekadashi means the Lord goes to sleep for the next 4 months. So Chaturmasya, 4 months. This 4 months period is the rainy season of India. So the rishis and munis, the sages, they don't move out of the place where they live, because in the rainy season, all kinds of insects and creatures will be out and they don't want to harm them unwittingly. So they stay put in one place. So this Chaturmasya, you will see that every mutt is announcing our Guru is going to spend his Chaturmasya in such and such place. So this is a common to all sannyasis, whether they are from the Mayavadi school or from Vaishnava school. Chaturmasya is common. So in that sense, it's not strictly a devotional practice. It is more of the Varnashrama system, the system of moral codes, that one does not do unnecessary harm to other living entities. Those who want to observe Chaturmasya, they can do so, but it's not strictly a devotional practice for us. Basically, we observe it in a very simple way. The 4 months, we don't consume 4 items. You all must be familiar with that. First month what, second month what, third month, 4th month. So that is broadly the way it is observed. And the last 5 days, some people like to observe Bhishma Pancha. That's also very severe vow. Some people like to have it. But as far as we are concerned, in iskcon movement, we are more interested to observe the Ekadashi very nicely, and festivals like Janmashtami, appearance day, disappearance day, and all that, with the appropriate amount of fasting. Our practices are not for acquiring any kind of a punya, because we know punya is equally bad as papa. So as devotees, we are not that much interested in acquiring punya, which can at best ferry you to heavenly planets where you can enjoy for a long, long time. Devotee actually doesn't want to enjoy. He wants to give enjoyment to the Lord. So he's very eager to go back home and to serve the Lord. In fact, more than going back home, a devotee is interested in serving the Lord wherever the Lord may place him. So in that sense, punya and papa more belong to this material world of karmis. So as devotees, we want to go beyond punya and papa. We want to engage in activities which are called as akarma, which are purely devotional activities to the Lord that don't produce either punya or papa, but they only produce love for Krishna. And that is the only thing the devotees are interested in. So in one sense, it greatly simplifies the life of a devotee. But at the same time, the purpose is to focus all attention on the service of the Lord, on the service of the devotees, reading scriptures deeply, trying to understand them. So this is essentially the life of a devotee. To some, it may appear to be very oversimplified, but actually the simplification is given by the Lord for the benefit of the devotee, because devotee always wants to serve the Lord with one-pointed attention. So we don't want that to be diverted even in terms of moral code, dharma, the various prescribed duties for the various varnas and ashramas. Even that is a distraction for a devotee who wants to engage all his senses, all his mind and intelligence in the service of the Lord. So, does it make sense, or do any of you harbor any doubts on this point? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji, we understand, Prabhuji, what we have to focus on. Whatever facilitates to remember Krishna and do our sadhana and serve Krishna is more important, is what we understand, Prabhuji.
Very right. But at the same time, not everybody is qualified for bhakti, unfortunately, because they don't have the necessary bhakti sukriti, they don't have developed the necessary faith to engage in bhakti. So we don't disturb them. When they want to do chaturmasya, we encourage them. We encourage them to observe various kinds of vratas, fasting, charity, yajna, dana, all these things. We encourage them to do that because for them, they will gradually advance towards sattva gun. Because they are not ready for bhakti, they will advance towards sattva. Even that is a much better frame of uh, consciousness. From that, if they get association of devotees, they may advance towards the sattva and devotional practices. So we are very, very careful that we don't acquire a sense of aura around us that, oh, I am a great person, I am a devotee, I don't have to observe all these things. And those who observe, they are actually fools, they are fallen souls, they don't understand how great Krishna consciousness is. We should not develop that kind of a mood. We should always remain in the mood of a servant of the servant. So people who are ready for bhakti, we engage them in bhakti. Those who are ready for karma, we engage them in karmic activities. And those who are ready for jnana, we encourage them in the study of scriptures and things like that. So in any case, a devotee does not place himself or herself on a pedestal and start preaching to others. So this is an essential quality, amanitvam, adambitvam. A devotee always remains very humble in dealing with others. And the mood is that of a servant. The mood is not that of a leader or a person in a higher position. Rather, we feel that all are children of God and we are their servants. We are engaged in slowly encouraging them towards the Lord in whichever path they choose. Even Krishna does that only. Yepi anya devata bhakti ajanti shraddhaya andita tepi mameva kaunteya ajanti avidipurvakam. Then Krishna would say, depending on their faith, I encourage them in that faith. I strengthen that faith so that they can progress on that. Because we need faith. If we have doubt, samshayatma vinashyati. So Krishna doesn't want to sow doubt in the minds of souls. Rather, encourage them on the lines in which they are thinking and move them on that. And slowly, slowly, they will learn their lessons. And eventually, when they come in association of devotees, they will slowly turn towards Krishna. Krishna is, in that sense, in one sense, he is very much in a hurry to reclaim all the souls, but at the same time, he doesn't want to do it in a very violent way. It's a very ahimsa way that Krishna follows in reclaiming the souls back to himself. Okay. So the topic today is threat against iskcon. So we might have already covered some of it in the previous session. I will quickly run through the background and then we will come to today's session. So after London, the temple inauguration in London was 14th December, and 21st December, Prabhupada is in Boston. After leaving London, after inaugurating such a gorgeous, magnificent temple for Radha Londonishwara, and training the people on how to worship the deities, how to serve the various paraphernalia of the Lord, and how the deity worship can help one to progress in spiritual consciousness. Apart from the chanting that we do, we have to also do deity worship, which will help us to develop the right mood in our chanting and in all our devotional practices. So Prabhupada is gradually introducing more and more things. Initially, it was only chanting, but because all are not qualified to engage in pure chanting, we know how much difficulty we have in our chanting. Our minds are pulled in so many directions. So there is a need to engage our senses. Our senses should be engaged in chanting, but supposing our senses are complaining that no, I want more engagements, etc., then deity worship, the Lord mercifully comes to us in the form that we can see, touch, feel, and serve. So that way, Archa Vigraha, it's a manifestation of the Lord, it's an avatar of the Lord, Archa Avatara. So that way, we engage in serving the Lord. So in this connection also, if you have any doubts, you can ask me later on. And all these things are basically intended to drive us closer to Krishna, towards Krishna Prema. And because we are all not sufficiently purified to engage in chanting alone like Haridas Thakur could do. So these are mercifully given to us additional practices so that Srila Prabhupada has reduced our chanting quota to only 16 rounds. Haridas Thakur was chanting 192 rounds. I don't think any of us think we are ready for that. 192 rounds per day. So if we do our 16 rounds, there is so much of time left. What do we do with that? What we do in the remaining time determines the quality of our chanting. And the quality of our chanting determines the quality of what we do in the remaining 22 hours of the day. So, in that sense, they are all interconnected. And an acharya very mercifully, very expertly organizes the day's program for the devotees in such a way that everything reinforces one another. Our deity worship reinforces chanting, chanting reinforces deity worship, and all other practices, reading, hearing, discussing with devotees, serving the Lord with bhoga and so many other, everything feeds into each other. So overall, we progress in our devotional life. Okay, so Prabhupada has now come to Boston. He receives a thunderous emotional reception at the airport. The police even could not control the feelings of the crowd. So there was huge noise there. And Brahmananda, president of New York, he had come down to Boston. He was crying shamelessly. Kirtanananda had come from New Vrindavan with a busload of devotees. He is running towards Prabhupada without any sense of shame, because once you surrender, then there is no sense of shame. If you read Prahlad Maharaj's prayers or Prahlad Maharaj instructing his friends in the school, you will see all these things, that a devotee loses all sense of shame. Sometimes the devotee cries, sometimes the devotee laughs, sometimes the devotee runs, sometimes the devotee sits down in one place and makes a huge noise like thunder. All the devotee becomes unaware of the external situation, being so much absorbed in thinking about the Lord, experiencing the Lord. Through each and every one of his senses, devotee experiences the Lord. You can imagine in that stage of prema, what can happen. Devotee loses all contact with the external world. So Srila Prabhupada is experiencing happiness by seeing Boston. It's a new temple, by the way. When Prabhupada comes, they are moving into a new temple, and Prabhupada is inaugurating the deity worship in the new temple. So Prabhupada says, even after I pass, which is going to happen for sure very soon, but I'm sure my students will be able to continue the movement. It has the potency to awaken awareness of God within everyone's heart. And I'm sure my movement will go on. For the next, how many years? Revolve?
10,000 years, Prabhuji.
10,000 years. So imagine. See, I retired from a bank which claims that it has been around for 200 years. And we take so much pride in that. 200 years. Actually, it was not like that. Initially, it was Bank of Bengal, then there was Bank of Madras, then Bank of Bombay. Then all of them were merged in 1935, and it became the Imperial Bank of India. And in 1955, post-independence, the bank was renamed as State Bank of India. So the whole thing, but we want to claim that, you see in so many signboards on the streets, you will see, we have been around for 100 years. What 100 years? Nobody knows. That they claim to be a century old. Our grandfather started a small mess, and from that today we have developed in a big hotel. So we have a legacy of 100 years like that. But Prabhupada is talking about leaving a legacy of 10,000 years, imagine. And the two in this Kali Yuga, where things are happening very fast. Our lifespan itself is so short. In Satya Yuga, 10,000 would have been nothing, because people live for 100,000 years. But in this Kali Yuga, people barely live for 100 years. It is falling. Average life expectancy in India is around 67, 68 years. And where is 10,000? So it's very, very big. And Prabhupada is establishing a movement for the next 10,000 years. So it's saying a lot. So Prabhupada proudly saying that my movement will go on, even in my absence. And from the airport, Prabhupada drives in a limousine. Maybe some of these points are slightly back and forth, back and forth. This is again from the airport to Boston Temple. Prabhupada drives in a limousine. The temple is very big. There is an attentive audience of more than 200 people listening to Prabhupada. And Prabhupada is telling, if you clean the deity's utensils nicely, your hearts will get cleansed. Not only your own, your spiritual master's heart also will get cleansed. He's saying about polishing the deity paraphernalia, keeping them shining like gold. You can see in iskcon temples, when you see the brass items, they will shine like gold. You will wonder whether they actually gold, whether it is the deities or it is a paraphernalia, they are kept shining. So this is coming in parampara. Prabhupada taught us, and the same thing devotees are carrying forward. So devotees suddenly realize the importance of this aspect. There is deity worship aspect in Krishna consciousness. I have already explained how they all dovetail into one another, and as a package, it pushes you forward very quickly to advance in Krishna consciousness. Then Prabhupada took a tour of the Boston temple, very huge temple, huge lawn in front, deity hall. Then there is a lecture hall, which is equally big. Then there is living quarters for brahmacharis and brahmacharinis. And there is a large kitchen and prasadam hall. And then there is the press, which is so dear to Srila Prabhupada. So another devotee said, Prabhupada, you are in the heart of Krishna. And Prabhupada responded, and this printing press is in my heart. So how important it is. So Prabhupada was asked to name the press, and Prabhupada simply named it iskcon press. No high-sounding names, iskcon press, that's all. And Prabhupada's dream of flooding Krishna conscious literature throughout the world is now only fructifying. It has just started happening. And this press will play a major role in doing that. And Prabhupada is very, very happy. And Prabhupada is not just an author, but he has also the mission that Krishna conscious literature should flood the world. And in that process, flood the people with Krishna prema. So, and that is now happening. So Prabhupada says the press should work continuously, 24 hours a day. And there is so much Krishna conscious material for us. This is again coming in parampara. His guru, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, started a newspaper, daily, daily newspaper. First it was monthly, bi-monthly, whatever. Eventually he came to newspaper. And the reporters questioned him, is there enough matter to publish a newspaper? Then very famously, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati replied, there are unlimited number of universes, and ours is one of those small universes. Within that universe, there are 14 planetary systems, and in that, there is a middle planetary system. And from that, he came down, and then he said, talked about Calcutta. And if there is so much for you to publish in it, so many daily newspapers are there to publish news about this tiny country or a tiny city. What about the whole spiritual world, which is many times bigger than the entire material world? And so much is happening every moment that not a daily newspaper, we can have a moment-to-moment newspaper. So that same mood Prabhupada is reflecting. He's saying there is so much material and the press should work continuously. And Prabhupada said, I can give you 6 books a year, translations, properly edited and everything. So 6 books a year you can publish, large books. So every year for the next 10 years, I want to publish 60 such books and get ready to work 3 shifts, all of you. Prabhupada is encouraging the people working in the press. And he's also telling them, this is the greatest service in our movement, greatest service. Prabhupada is saying Sankirtan movement, which is distribution of books, Back to Godhead magazines and other literatures. This is the field work of our movement. And temple worship is secondary. Again, don't get confused. You should correctly weigh the words. Prabhupada, in what context, what he is telling, we should understand it correctly. So temple worship is secondary because it is a distribution of books that will attract people first. And then they will come to the temple. And in the temple, we will train them further to become nice devotees. So first it is a field work to flood the world with Back to Godhead and other books. And then eventually they will ask, how can I learn more? Then they will be shown the temple. And the beautiful temple, beautiful altar, beautiful prasadam, beautiful deity worship will attract people. And then from beautiful Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, we will train them to become excellent devotees. So this is the plan Srila Prabhupada is having. That way, book distribution is top priority, temple worship becomes secondary. It follows. First, books must go. People must read the books and they should develop the eagerness to learn more. And then the temple will back up. Temple becomes a backup. Field work, front office work is basically the book distribution. And the devotees are telling Prabhupada, now we are printing 50,000 Bhakti magazines here and it is being sold every month. Prabhupada is very happy but not satisfied. Prabhupada says our sales must increase many times more than this. 50,000 should become 50 lakhs. That is the plan that Prabhupada is having. And Prabhupada says, I already told that there is enough work for the next 10 years. Prabhupada is planning like that. And we have already discussed how Purushottama left. Anyone remembers this Purushottama story quickly in 2 lines? You can tell.
Hare Krishna
Yes.
Prabhuji, when they said na people they landed in moon,
Yes.
so Prabhupada was not very happy about that.
Yes.
So he said no, nobody can land in moon. So in that way he got some kind of disappointment.
Yes. Yeah. So this is a struggle between sensory perception and Shastric vision. And unfortunately, Purushottama is having a problem in reconciling. What is my sensory perception? Right in front of me on TV, they are showing men landing on moon and moving, jumping, doing all these things. And Prabhupada is saying, no, they have not landed on moon. According to scriptures, it is not possible to land on moon. You need to have certain qualifications. And moon is not like this, barren rocks and sand and dust. Prabhupada is telling that. And Purushottama, a very devout patriot, American patriot, he cannot tolerate that. And Prabhupada constantly teases him, knowing this particular weakness. What is the weakness? Giving priority to sensory perception, knowledge gathered materially, to the spiritual knowledge which is coming down through the parampara system. Which one should you respect more? So that is where Prabhupada is tackling, and Purushottama is not able to digest that, and he eventually leaves the movement. Don't write him off here. Okay, he will come back. No, neha vikramana sosti pratyavayo na vidyate. So anyone who has done even a little service in Krishna consciousness is not given up by the Lord or by the parampara. So Purushottama lives for the time being. We are having a keyhole view. Keyhole view means what? Somebody appears and disappears. What happened before? What happened after? We don't know. Ours is a keyhole view. So don't jump to conclusions based on keyhole views, because we have to present it like that here. Then from Boston, Srila Prabhupada left to Los Angeles again to open a new temple. First own temple of iskcon is the Los Angeles temple. Very big temple. They purchased a church and remodeled it into a temple. Designs were all made by Srila Prabhupada. They did not want to encourage outsiders because it would be very expensive. All this money is coming basically from book distribution. And so Prabhupada wants to act very frugally. And Prabhupada is expert. He's doing all interior designing, architectural design, everything Prabhupada is doing, and the temple is there. And Prabhupada goes to this Los Angeles temple. And as he goes there, the temple, the altar, everything is inaugurated. And that is the Vyas Puja day of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And we have already described this. On the Vyas Puja day, usually a devotee makes offerings in glorification of the Guru Maharaj. And here, Srila Prabhupada simply took out the list of devotees, disciples that he had, and offered that list. He read out all the names on that list and offered them at the lotus feet of his Guru. So there is an important lesson for us to learn. When we get our Guru here in iskcon, that Guru is offering us to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada is the founder Acharya of iskcon for all times. There can never be another founder Acharya. Right? He is the preeminent Siksha Guru for all iskcon devotees, whether they are directly his disciples or his grand disciples or his grand disciples. For all of us, Srila Prabhupada remains our preeminent Siksha Guru, and he speaks to us through his books. Prabhupada lives in his books. Till today, devotees are experiencing the living presence of Srila Prabhupada through his books. Many of them get Srila Prabhupada in their dreams. They are not his direct disciples. In fact, I told you in an earlier class that Prabhupada once said, the grand Guru, spiritual master, has more love for his grandchildren than his own children, like a father and grandfather. Like grandfather is more attached to the grandchildren and they indulge them. They are not tough with them. They don't chastise them. They give pure love. Whereas a father has other duties. He has to bring up the child in a proper way. So the father has to chastise sometimes. But grandfather only showers love. So Prabhupada said to his disciples, I may chastise you, but Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati is your grandfather. He is lovingly bestowing his blessings on you. So same way, we may not be disciples of Srila Prabhupada. We may be his grand disciples or great grand disciples. And we can rest assured, Prabhupada is showering infinitely more blessings on us than he does on his own disciples. He doesn't find our faults. He finds only the good in us and he continues to encourage us. There is a good fortune we have, and the generations to come, they have this good fortune of receiving very, very kind blessings and love from Srila Prabhupada. He doesn't see our defects, he sees only the good qualities and he fans them so that we can progress. So we should have this mood when it comes to our spiritual master. In iskcon, Srila Prabhupada was one guru, but yes, subsequently there are so many sannyasi gurus who can all initiate us in iskcon. So whether you get initiated by this guru or that guru, your guru is Srila Prabhupada. Siksha Guru, Diksha Guru. Diksha Guru connects you to the parampara, but Prabhupada remains your preeminent Siksha Guru. So you need not ask if you meet anyone in iskcon, who is your guru? No need. No need to know who initiated me. Where is the need? I might have been initiated by X Guru. You might have been initiated by Y Guru. Yes, you remain loyal to your guru, but your top loyalty is to Srila Prabhupada. Some of the gurus actually fell down. Some of the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, who initiated other disciples, they fell down. And the disciples became distraught. But actually, they forgot what Prabhupada told them. Prabhupada has given clearly that I am your preeminent Siksha Guru. As long as you are reading my books scrutinizingly and you are trying to implement them in your life, you are always protected. Because I had authorized XYZ to initiate you. But if that person fell down, it is my responsibility to protect you. So let us understand this. Why I am saying this is we are in Kali Yuga. We are now talking about threat to iskcon. One of the threats to iskcon is called groupism. Has anyone heard of this groupism? Hare Krishna. Quickly.
Yes, Prabhuji, based on Diksha Gurus.
Yeah, that is absolutely wrong. Absolutely wrong. You glorify your Siksha Guru, you glorify your Diksha Guru, that is perfectly fine, but not that my Guru is better than yours. I will serve with my God brothers. You are a different set of, you have a different Guru, you are a different set of God brothers, then there will be competition between us. Even competition can be approved if it is all for the purpose of pleasing Krishna. Prabhupada said in spiritual world, in Goloka, there is competition. But that competition is not out of envy and pride. Competition is out of giving who can give greater pleasure to Krishna. And if someone else gives greater pleasure to Krishna, then I become happy, not morose. If some devotee does better service to Krishna and Krishna is more pleased and praises the devotee, I become doubly happy. So this is a spiritual consciousness. Don't get material consciousness mixed up here. It is good to be proud of your spiritual master, your spiritual master's great qualities and all that. But then you say, oh, because I am his disciple, I am great. That should not happen. That pride should never come. Is there any doubt? Anyone wants to say something on this? Please speak up.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, till date, I haven't got a scope of seeing any of this at all, Prabhuji. So I think I'm very fortunate and lucky. Because wherever I've gone, I have only seen very kind-hearted, cooperative devotees, mingling very nicely with the goal of Krishna Prema. Hare Krishna.
You are fortunate. You are fortunate. Even if you come across some devotees who have this particular weakness, you just overlook it. You don't go around tom-tomming, see, this devotee is creating groupism. Don't create another issue. We all have a tendency, in Kali, we are Manda Samanta Madayo, Manda Bhagya Upadrata. We are always looking for something to start a quarrel. So let us not do that. Some devotees may be like that. Okay. In a garden, there are all kinds of flowers. Okay, this particular devotee is like that. Fine. It is not my business to correct them. But you realize that this is a fault. I should not cultivate this. That I have got a guru. Now my guru is greater than Srila Prabhupada. And I will always glorify my guru. And disciples of other gurus, I will keep a distance from them. I will associate with disciples of my guru only. No. On the contrary, you might find like-minded devotees from some other guru, and you will become very close to them. That is perfectly order. Whereas with your own guru's disciples, sometimes you may have issues that they have not understood exactly what the guru wants to teach. So with those people, you may draw a distance also. Everything is fine. Srila Prabhupada unites us all in the iskcon movement. And the gurus may be saying something, but the disciple may understand something else. Right? So that issues can happen. You should have the discrimination to understand what is right and what is wrong. Right? See, we are all patients, correct? We are not doctors. See, there was a psychiatric hospital, and in the psychiatric hospital, a new admission came. And this new admission was asked, "Who are you?" He said, "I am the chief doctor here." He's a new patient. Like that, we are all new patients in iskcon. We are not doctors. There are doctors in iskcon, but we are all actually patients. So we have come to cure our own disease. We should not go around tom-tomming, "I am a big leader in iskcon." If we do that, we are doing a disservice to iskcon. Let us always remain humble. Let us always remain a neophyte. That's the safest position to take. We don't want any kind of a glorification. It may come, but if you become carried away by that, that's it. You lose the most precious thing in iskcon. If you are satisfied, if you get some name and fame, if you get some power and position within iskcon, it may even bring you a lot of money and reputation, things like that. But if you are satisfied with these things and you get attracted to that, and you cannot tolerate criticism, if someone finds fault with you, you become very much put down and angry with that person, then you are missing why you came to iskcon. You are forgetting why you came to iskcon in the first place. That should not happen. Am I making sense? Please, I want to hear from you.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Whatever I came to know is from IDC course, Prabhuji. And in the temple, I haven't met anyone of that type. But from IDC course, we understand how we have to behave along with other devotees, what we have to promote and what we should not speak, and many things they have taught in IDC course. And Prabhupada also says he wants all of us to cooperate so that iskcon movement goes on. That last, I forgot what he wrote exactly, Prabhuji, in that IDC book. It was a touching line what Srila Prabhupada had mentioned. That all of us should.
You will show how much you love me to the degree that you cooperate, right?
Yeah. Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhupada
I was
said.
touched.
Because see, Gaudiya Math broke up. Prabhupada never wanted, because iskcon is meant for the next 10,000 years. Gaudiya Math, by Krishna's arrangement, it broke up. Nothing left. Only small temples like any other temple we have. One more temple. Nothing more than that. Because it's a preaching mission. When a temple doesn't do preaching aggressively to bring more and more people, they are satisfied. We have cultivated 100 people. These 100 people are giving some donations. With these donations, we are doing some deity worship. We have got our rooms to sleep and do our work. And there is enough prasadam for all of us. 3 times we will eat and sleep. That tendency should not come. Actually, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, as long as he was alive, he never allowed this tendency to creep in. Whenever some money came, some big donation came, he would immediately spend it on a large project. Again, they will be out with a begging bowl only. He kept it like that because there should be always anxiety for Krishna. If you give up anxiety for material existence, but then it should be replaced by anxiety for Krishna. That is how it is. So we should keep our goal very, very clear. We are trapped in this material world. We have not come here to enjoy. Anytime something comes and touches our heart, oh, this is nice, I want to enjoy this a little bit, then I will continue my spiritual life, then you are in great danger. You are falling down. That one goal should be fixed in our heart. Anya Bilashita Shunyam. Everything else is anartha. There is only one Abhilasha. We should remain very focused on that. That way we become protected. That way we always have the loving embrace of Srila Prabhupada. We will never fall down. We will never be lost. So that is the message here, that we should remain steadfastly loyal to Srila Prabhupada. And we should not get into any kind of a groupism. The moment we get into groupism, let us realize that our fall down has already started. However nice it may feel, these are all my own God brothers. We are all devotees of the same Guru, and there are others, me and they. That tendency we should very, very carefully avoid. Okay. So now,
Prabhuji, I have one doubt, please.
yes.
Prabhuji, yes, I am also observing this type of groupism in my center.
Yeah.
And earlier, whomever I used to spend time with more, now I am trying to avoid some people and getting engaged with some more higher level devotees. So is this also okay? Because I'm not letting them feel that I'm avoiding them, but
Yes.
at least I'm consciously avoiding them.
Yes.
Because they're talking too much of politics and materialistic
Yes.
etc.
So your discrimination is working. Krishna is helping you. You are realizing that this is not really good, and you are trying to keep the distance. That is very good. And
Thank you.
of course, at a higher level, when we rise higher, then we will see only the good in others. We won't see the bad in others. But let us not cheat ourselves to think I am a pure devotee. I see only good in others. Right? We are not at that level. We see both good and bad. Some people see only bad in others. At least we are not there. We see both good and bad in others. But then if I see that this may threaten my spiritual life, then we take self-protection. A pure devotee is never threatened. He gives mercy and love and association to everyone. But in our case, we have a danger. We may fall into that association. We may want to give good association, but we may take the bad association finally. So we want to protect ourselves. So that way, I fully approve what you are doing. We should not go tell a third party, see, this devotee is like this. That we should not. Then we are getting into the same trap.
Silently, I just
that is perfect. The Paramatma is guiding you from within. I'm very, very happy. This is exactly the indication that Paramatma is speaking from within. And we are able to listen. Paramatma always speaks, but we don't listen. But when we are able to listen, then we save 100, 200, 500 lifetimes simply by listening to Paramatma's words. If we don't listen, another 1,000 lifetimes may go by before we start listening. So this is very good. What you are saying, what you are sharing is extremely good. It will protect you in the long run. And you may protect many others in the long run. That's very much okay. No, we are talking about 10,000 years. I just now spoke my bank 200 years old and so much pride. And there was something called Baring Brothers. I don't know, you heard it or not. It's sometime in 2006 when there was a great collapse in the world. Baring Brothers collapsed. And they were saying, it's a 200-year-old institution. How it collapsed? There was a rogue trader. So 10,000 years, mind you, it's not an ordinary task. So we must support this movement. Whatever we do, it should strengthen this movement. We should not do anything that will weaken this movement. There is the greatest disservice we can do. In the name of iskcon, I wear my tilak, I wear my kantimala, I wear my kurta, I wear my shikha, and I chant Hare Krishna, I move around with a bead bag, and at the end of the day, I create a bad reputation for the institution by my behavior. That is very, very bad. That I start feeling that I'm a superior person, I'm a senior devotee, I know much more than others, and because of pride, hatred, and envy that are flooding my heart, I am creating a bad image for iskcon. That is one thing. Better that we don't wear tilak in such a situation. Better we don't claim that we belong to iskcon movement until we have conquered some of these baser instincts which have come with us from many lifetimes. But we attribute that to iskcon. People will attribute it to iskcon. I am a patient. I am suffering from so many bipolar disorders. And then I go around telling people I am an iskcon devotee. Actually, these diseases have caught me from earlier lifetimes. Now I am in iskcon for cure. But people will think, whatever I have, this is all I have got from iskcon. Is it correct? Will not people judge us like that? In the street, if an ordinary man gets into a tussle with someone, there is a fighting, fisticuff and all that, people will tolerate that. But when a devotee is doing the same thing, they will say, what kind of devotees are these people? What kind of movement is iskcon? With other people, they will tolerate. But the moment you pose yourself as a devotee, you will be watched. Every one of your actions will be observed. And that you should be very, very careful. That is our gratitude to Srila Prabhupada, that we don't bring a bad reputation to the institution. It is our gratitude to Prabhupada. Not only that, so many more souls are waiting to come to iskcon, but because of that, somebody goes away. We are trying to do book distribution. People don't take it. Then we criticize them. Oh, you are wasting your life. You can't even take this book, 200 rupees. You go to a hotel and spend 1,000 rupees without batting an eyelid. This 200 rupees book you cannot buy. We become angry. That is out of our own ego problem. That we should not do. We should not turn people away from iskcon. If we cannot attract them to iskcon, fine, but let us not turn them away. So these are all our own expressions of gratitude. If Prabhupada had not been there, what would be our fate today? There we will be languishing. We see all around us people suffering. There are rich people suffering, poor people suffering, educated people suffering, illiterate suffering, very beautiful, famous people suffering, or unknown people on the street suffering. Who is not suffering in this world? Anyone who has not come to Krishna consciousness, you don't have to even rub them to see what is inside. They are all suffering. They are all suffering. There is no question about it. So iskcon is the one mission that has come to serve people, to make them really happy, experience real happiness. That is what iskcon is trying to give. Because the soul is filled with Satchitananda. We want to evoke that. We want to manifest that in every heart. So that is the mission in which we are serving. So let us not do it unwisely in the wrong way and kick people out of the movement. That will be a great disservice. Krishna is watching all of us. Prabhupada said, if you know 2 words, see, because I have to balance whatever I say. I should not push you on one side that, oh, better I not preach. No, we all have to preach. That's also our duty to the mission. Prabhupada said, if you know 2 words only, go and speak the 2 words to others. But say that this is what I heard and I am telling you. I am a student. I am sharing this with you. So someone asked Prabhupada, how much experience we should gain, how many things we should learn before we can start preaching. Prabhupada said, nothing. If you know 2 words, you speak the 2 words. But don't add or subtract anything. Say it as it is. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Amara Agneya Guru Haya Tharaye Desh. You heard this, Kalikumar Ghosh Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, please, can you say that? Complete that shloka. Amara Agneya Guru Haya Tharaye Desh. Tharaye Desh. Save this planet. Then, Yara Dekho, Thare Kaho, Krishna Upadesh.
Krishna.
Krishna Upadesh. Whose Upadesh? Not your Upadesh.
Krishna Upadesh.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, become a guru by my order. First line. Amara Agneya Guru Haya. Become a guru by my order. Thare Desh, save this planet. Then immediately we put up our collars. Oh, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has made me a guru now. Now I am a guru. I am going to save the whole planet. What I am going to do? I am going to give my preachings. No. Next line. Yara dekho, thare kaho, Krishna Upadesh. Krishna's Upadesh. Prabhupada will very nicely paraphrase this. Krishna says, Sarvadharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam braja. Give up all varieties of religion. Surrender unto me, Krishna says. The devotee goes and says, give up all varieties of religion. Surrender unto Krishna. That's all. Then you are become a guru. You have become a guru. What Krishna said, you are repeating that. What Bhagavad Gita says, you are repeating that. You are not trying to take the credit for yourself. Surrender to Krishna. That is what the Parampara is telling. And you are repeating that. So these kind of precautions we should always take. See, the easiest way to do is to give up preaching. Oh, this is too much for me. I will make mistakes. I will mess up. Then you are not being grateful to Prabhupada. You are trapped on all sides. Any comments, devotees?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandat pranams, Prabhuji.
Yes, ma'am.
Prabhuji, during one of our monthly meetings, our manager was saying we would like to say something different, not the usual productivity and all that. So I went and I approached my manager. I said I would like to say how I came across a very tough situation. How I overcame one difficult situation in my life. I wanted to share. I just wanted to do it as a testimonial and in God consciousness, because all religious people will be there. So I just wanted to speak in general.
Yeah.
And I thought he will agree, Prabhuji, because I don't have any other platform to, I don't go outside the home. I like whoever I know, share many lectures, many important points, my friends, everything that I do, Prabhuji. But here 40-45 people are there in the team. So I really wanted to share my experience, how a transformation happened, how happy I was. I wanted to, but I didn't. I was not given an opportunity. He said maybe later. He knows that I'm into iskcon. He's a Brahmin only, Bangalore-based Brahmin. He also takes Ekadashi, everything. So he knows and all, but somehow I didn't get that opportunity, Prabhuji. Now also I feel very sad for that, but definitely, Prabhuji, if we have to share wherever possible, we have to share. I am actually waiting for any opportunity to, Prabhuji, for a small amount of preaching. I don't know how can, but as you said, whatever we heard now, I told no, Prabhuji, whatever I'm hearing in Bhagavatam, I tell to my husband. That is what I'm doing. 2 words, as you said, 2 words. Immediately, I'm saying that only I'm doing, Prabhuji.
That is very good. I will tell you two things.
Tell
One
me,
is
yes, ma'am.
there is something called this is a mentorship book called 7 Habits of Successful People. Have you come across 7 Habits of Highly Successful People?
No, Prabhuji.
From that, I am telling each of us live in two circles. Two circles. One circle is called the sphere of influence. That's a small circle. That is the circle within which you have some influence. That could be your husband, your brothers, sisters, your own children, or some neighbors, some friends. You have to measure who is within my sphere of influence. If nobody is there, still you are there within your sphere of influence. So you can work on yourself. So first thing is the sphere of influence. That is where you should start your work. For most of us, it is very small, very small. Our own family, our own intimate friends and relatives. Or if nobody is there, I am there. So I should work on that sphere of influence. Then there is a bigger circle called sphere of concern. That is the whole globe. We are concerned about the whole globe, that people are smoking, people are getting addicted to drinks, there is illicits going on, moral codes are being violated everywhere, there is global warming, there is pollution, unlimited. They are all sphere of concern. The more you dwell on the sphere of concern, the more you become dejected, morose, and depressed. But the more you dwell on the sphere of influence, you can become happier, powerful, and help others. So we should all learn to live within the sphere of influence, not on sphere of concern. Is it clear? Because I'm oversimplifying many things, but does it make sense?
Yes, Prabhuji. So you mean to say, Prabhuji, this kind of when you get an opportunity in a common place who are not into bhakti or something, we should not say, Prabhuji. Is that what I should understand from this, Prabhuji?
There is a very nice saying. It says, where people don't have faith, try to give faith. Where people have faith, depending on the depth of that faith, try to give knowledge. First, it is not knowledge. First, it is faith that we need to give. Depending on how much faith a person has, proportionately, we can give them knowledge. Even Krishna is not doing beyond this. And we are very, very small. So let us follow the example of Krishna. Let us do what the other party can take. Let us give only that much. So giving faith, you know how? You give them prasadam, you give them an opportunity to appreciate good things about Krishna, about devotees, etc. That is the, giving faith. Sukriti, you give them agyada sukriti. That is good enough. If somebody has faith and they have the eagerness to inquire, then you give them. But then don't give them everything. Fat. This is all I know. I will give everything to you at one shot. Don't do that. Depending on their ability to take, that ability comes from the depth of their faith. Accordingly, you give them the knowledge. Okay. Our aim is to give knowledge, but you can't do that straight away. You give them first faith. So depending on the crowd in which you are talking, you should be very, because this could be a crowd of assorted people. Then you have to temper, you have to plan. What kind of presentation I should make, how this will gel. If I say this, how they will take it. This kind of thinking is required. So that way, the sphere of influence and sphere of concern, all of us should remember. Then the next thing that I want to tell you is preaching doesn't mean talking. Right? Preaching doesn't mean talking. Preaching means being an example. By your behavior, you preach. So that's why someone says one should preach 24 hours of the day. But sometimes you can also talk. One should preach 24 hours. You can also talk sometimes. So that sometimes is when somebody is actually showing interest. They ask, how are you so patient? How are you so compassionate? How are you so balanced? How are you so undisturbed? I would like to know. Then you can give them. Again, depending on how much they can take. So that preaching can go on all the time. 24-hour preaching. Speaking, you should not think that only when I speak, I am preaching. Okay, depending on. When you are called upon to speak, you are ready. Right? So that is it okay, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji, I can understand now, Prabhuji. Because I didn't know what to do. I thought this is a platform where like I can give somebody in the 40 people, at least 10 or 20 people, if they are into it, if I'm helping them, that is what I thought, because our work is also stressful. There are a lot of other things. So that is what I thought. But somehow, maybe by Krishna's arrangements, he didn't agree to it. Maybe it is not the correct time.
It could be. Yeah, it could be
Yes.
quite true. What you are saying could be quite true.
Yes,
Some people
Prabhuji.
might have been harmed. They
Yes,
might have
Prabhuji.
understood exactly what you are saying. Some people who are envious in heart, they
Yes,
may be,
Prabhuji.
they may go away.
Yes,
So
Prabhuji.
Initially, it is better to have it on a one-to-one basis.
Yes, Prabhuji. I understood. I took it that way only, Prabhuji. So it's
In
Krishna's
a group of
arrangement.
complete strangers, see, this is such a world. Everybody is cynical, skeptical, agnostic, atheist. You cannot give it to them straight away. They won't be ready. Okay, let me move a little fast. We are already at 7:30, I think. Let me speak for 10 minutes and close today. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's appearance, new Los Angeles temple, owned by iskcon. So Prabhupada is very, very happy. And Prabhupada is staying here. And it looks like Prabhupada will stay in Los Angeles forever. And from sitting here, he's spreading the message everywhere through Sankirtana parties who are going out and distributing books. And he's translating, he's producing more books. Sankirtana parties are distributing. And then messages are sent to temple presidents all over the world. So these temple presidents take the message and they are distributing it in their places to the devotees. So that way, sitting in Los Angeles, Prabhupada is doing an amazing work globally. So that's going on. So this particular day, the Vyas Puja was completed. Then Prabhupada asked them to bring prasadam to serve everybody. And sitting in his Vyasasan, he supervised everyone. He would say, give this person this particular item, give that person more of this item, like that. Very nicely that day was spent. After that, Prabhupada took a tour of the temple. And that time Prabhupada explained why we need big temples. Why we need big temples? Because no one will listen to a poor man. That's all. We don't need big temples, but we want to give this knowledge to others. To give this knowledge, we need opulent temples so that they will come. We are distributing books. After reading the book, somebody will want to know more. And where will they go? They will come to the temple. If the temple is very simple, very unappealing, very unattractive, they will be turned away because people want to learn in a good setting with all comforts and everything. So we have our opulent temples, nice prasadam, nice altar, nice puja, nice kirtan, nice katha. So we'll bring them. So there is a purpose. So Los Angeles temple was originally a church. It was purchased and very nicely everything was designed by Srila Prabhupada to save engaging outside consultants for the job. And Prabhupada explained, deities are our kings and temple presidents are the servants. So very clear, in our home also, deities are the king and we are all servants. So all are servants, but especially when you look at myself, I should think Krishna is the king And the rest of the members of the family, they are all his children, and I am his servant. I will say that again. Krishna is the king. The members of the family, they are all his children, but I am his servant. I am his servant. So I serve Krishna and I also serve his children. So while serving Krishna, I should not neglect his children. If I neglect the children, will the father be happy? So I should deal very nicely with the other members of my family. Some of them may be agnostic, some of them may be atheistic, some of them may be hateful, some of them may blaspheme, but all of them I should serve them appropriately. So this is how deity becomes kings. And temple presidents are only servants, that's all. So there is no room for any kind of a pride there. So Los Angeles temple, Prabhupada wanted it should become model for all iskcon temples. Example, Srimad Bhagavatam class, Prabhupada would conduct in Los Angeles, and he would say, let all temple presidents come and see what is going on in LA, and let them repeat that wherever they go. Same setup. So that is how all iskcon temples have become identical clones of each other, correct? Some bigger, some smaller, but if you see the temple program, they are identical in all the temples. That's Prabhupada always wanted that. So Prabhupada invited all temple presidents to come to LA. And all these temple presidents, by the way, how old they were? Average age was 22, 23. They were temple presidents. Imagine the potency of Srila Prabhupada. So they were all so happy to learn and take it back home wherever they went. And Prabhupada spoke about expanding the movement, but everybody thought now Prabhupada is sort of settled in Los Angeles. But sitting here, he's doing amazing things across the globe. But then new plans were unfolding every day. Srila Prabhupada wanted to create a GBC, Governing Body Commission, with 12 handpicked disciples. These people will take over the entire administrative work of ISKCON. If you want to read more on this, you can approach any ISKCON temple and try to understand what is a GBC. GBC was created by Srila Prabhupada. It was originally suggested by his own guru, but he could not do it in Gaudiya Math, but Prabhupada very effectively did that here. So 12 handpicked disciples will become GBC. They will take care of administrative decisions. So they will ensure that all ISKCON temples are following the same standard practices, code of conduct, right from president to the meanest worker. Everyone should follow the standards and everyone should know what ISKCON represents. So that GBC will do. Whenever there are some disputes, some problems, some arguments, GBC will solve it. Right? So everything will be put up to GBC and they will bring a standardized practices for all of ISKCON. And whatever GBC says, everyone should obey. So that's a what you call a monotheistic structure Prabhupada could create. GBC at the top. Up to now, Prabhupada is on top. Now, Prabhupada is moving away and replacing himself with GBC. So obviously, Prabhupada will give some training to the first GBC and then they will take over and they will take decisions independently without disturbing Prabhupada. So Prabhupada wants to go to sleep? No. Prabhupada wants to focus on translation. That's very, very important. And also, GBC will not be able to take over completely immediately. So they will constantly come to Prabhupada and Prabhupada. But instead of giving guidance temple-wise, devotee-wise, now Prabhupada is able to do interventions through the GBC. So that is how Prabhupada wanted a GBC. Same time, Prabhupada said, I also want to initiate more sannyasis. And these sannyasis, I will take them to India, train them as Parivrajakacharya, traveling preachers. And then I will send them all over the world to preach. So now you see two things already. One is GBC, second is traveling sannyasis. You should not get confused. Some sannyasis may be on the GBC also, right? And some sannyasis may not be in GBC also. And all the GBCs may not be sannyasis also. There could be Grahastha GBCs. So GBC is an administrative setup, not they are, strictly speaking, they are not on the spiritual dimension. They look more at administratively things. But when it comes to spiritual things, you have your guru and he is the sannyasi, Parivrajakacharya. Does it make sense? If you have doubts, you can ask me in the next class. You understood both GBC and sannyasis. You should not get them mixed up. You should not think all sannyasis are GBCs or all GBCs are sannyasis. They have very distinct responsibilities. Prabhupada created like that, amazingly. The more you go understand ISKCON, the more you will see how effective and powerful this arrangement is. And in LA, one new record arrived from from London. They have already created a Hare Krishna mantra, which created a record across the globe. Now a new record has come, Govinda. This is the Brahma Samhita shlokas. Every shloka ending with Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Those songs, and also the songs sung by Srila Prabhupada, and it was recorded in London. All these songs, they have come in this one record. So Prabhupada was very happy. Prabhupada said, tomorrow in the morning, you should play it in the temple after Darshanarti time. So Darshanarti over, Prabhupada comes and sits on his Vyasasana to give Bhagavatam class, and the record is playing. And as soon as the record started playing, Prabhupada went into ecstasy. His body shivered for a few moments, and then he became very still. His eyes were completely closed, and torrents of tears were running across his face. And the devotees were all sitting and watching this. Devotees, when Prabhupada is there, they don't look at the deity, they only look at Prabhupada. They learned so much from watching Prabhupada. So they watched this and they could see their spiritual master withdrawing into a complete ecstatic emotion. And they all became so happy. After a few minutes, Prabhupada opened his eyes. Is everyone okay? And everyone said, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Everyone had been given a darshan of a pure devotee in ecstasy. What a great blessing it is to be present in that place. The whole place becomes spiritually vibrant in such a situation, and devotees are fortunate to see. So here, Satsrupa Goswami Maharaj, he is warning us, Vaishnava Kriya Mudra, Vijnana Bhujaya. One cannot understand the actions of a Vaishnava, of a pure Vaishnava. Only a pure devotee can see and understand the behavior or words of another devotee. This is very important for you to take it to your heart, because now we are going to enter into threat to iskcon. When the threat comes and how Prabhupada reacts, you should remember this. I cannot understand the actions of a pure devotee, but I should still try. Just as we try to understand Krishna, who is beyond understanding, who is beyond the three gunas, still we try to understand. Prahlad Maharaj says, I am a son of a demon. I am a 5-year-old boy. I am not very intelligent, but still I will try to understand and glorify the Lord to the best of my ability for my own purification. Same way, with a pure devotee, we should all try to understand, but we should never say, I have understood. We should understand and glorify. That we are going to see. So Prabhupada is a perfect example of surrender to the Lord. He led his devotees in the same way. Prabhupada is leading his devotees in the same way. So these are some of the anomalies that Prabhupada starts noticing in the temple. I am just quickly going to read this, and I will discuss them in greater detail next time. Just see what kind of abnormalities. Prabhupada went for a morning walk. He returned to the temple. Some devotee had cleaned his room, and he saw his picture, Prabhupada's picture, upside down in his quarters. And Prabhupada threw a fit. He became very, very angry. Who has done this? Like that. Second serious discrepancy, Prabhupada went to the temple, took darshan, and then finally one devotee was giving Charanamrit. That's a daily practice. That day Charanamrit was given to Srila Prabhupada. He took it and immediately he made a face. Someone had put salt in the Charanamrit. Charanamrit is what? Very fragrant water is washed on the lotus foot of the Archa Vigraha, and as it comes down, it is collected in a vessel, that fragrant water, and to that yogurt is added and sugar, and that is distributed to the devotees. But today, some devotee had added salt. And Prabhupada asked, who done this? One small girl in a sari, westerner, she laughed, giggled, and said, I have done it. Why did you do it? She said, I don't know. And she still laughed. Prabhupada became very angry. Let me speak to some responsible person here. Who is responsible? So like that, Prabhupada became angry. Then one book came from Boston, newly printed book. That book, author's name is given as A.C. Bhaktivedanta. What is missing? His divine grace in the beginning and Swami Prabhupada. Bhaktivedanta, Swami Prabhupada. Missing. Simply A.C. Bhaktivedanta. Again, Prabhupada became very, very angry. Then shortly after, one more book came. In this book, Prabhupada is described as Acharya simply, not as founder Acharya, divine grace, Bhaktivedanta. No, they simply put Acharya, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, like that. Again, Prabhupada became angry. And when Prabhupada opened that book, the binding cracked, the pages fell down. Prabhupada's fury, nobody could tolerate. And this was conveyed to all the temples so that they will learn the lessons. And quickly, they all learned the lessons. About this, we will discuss in greater detail in the next class. For now, we will wind up. So we will start from this slide in the next class to draw lessons for us. God is in the detail. God is in the detail. Are we doing that? Are we serving God in that kind of a nice way? Or we are thinking the deity cannot see, it's only a metal deity, wooden deity, picture in the wall, he cannot see. Or Guru Maharaj, only a picture is there. I can deal with it the way, depending on my own convenience. No. So detail, attention to detail is a sign of love. When the love is not there, it becomes impersonalism. So we will see that in greater detail in our next class. Thank you very much for all your participation and your enthusiasm. I look forward to seeing all of you again in the next class. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gurudev ki jai.
Jai.
If there are no questions, then I will wind up. Is there anything anyone wants to ask?
Thank you, Prabhuji. Many lessons for us to learn. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the wonderful
Thank you.
class.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna,
you.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat pranam,
Prabhuji,
Prabhu.
Prabhuji, I want to ask one thing, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Actually, Prabhuji, whenever we come across some Ritvik people, how to react, how to deal with them, Prabhuji?
Very lovingly, very
Yeah.
compassionately, very caringly. We don't preach to them.
First of all, it is very difficult to differentiate between the Ritvik people, and initially we won't be able to, because since we are also neophytes, because we don't understand who they are, and when we get into speaking about Krishna and all, then gradually we will come to know that they are different. In that case, because they keep expressing their point of view, Prabhuji. In that case, how should we?
That you discourage. You can say that it is fine. I am so happy that you are serving Srila Prabhupada. I am also serving Prabhupada, but I am serving through the iskcon mission. So I follow the guidance given by my leaders. So it is fine. I appreciate you. I greatly admire and I am grateful to you for spreading the message of Srila Prabhupada. But on these issues on which we have difference, let us not dwell. Let us not dwell. That's all.
Yes,
let us focus on our commonality and let us not focus too much on our differences.
Yeah,
but you don't have to work with them.
Recently I came across one Prabhuji, and he came to my home, and he was there talking to me for continuously for 2 hours about Krishna consciousness, about Prabhupada, everything he spoke. It was everything was nice, but he was totally against preaching and all. And he said only this thing, books are the basis, books are the basis. That was he was still stressing. And I said preaching is the essence. So Prabhupada has also said preaching is the essence, but somehow he was not at all convinced. So I just kept my, because I said since I am very much new to this con, so I don't have any qualification to speak about this thing, Prabhuji.
Yeah. There is no need to enter into a debate or argument with them. Just let it pass. But you don't, in future, you don't have to spend so much time with them, because
yes, Prabhuji.
there is a fundamental difference between us.
Yes,
so you can leave it like that. Okay.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Jai. See you again next week. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranams. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat pranam, Prabhuji.